Now I gotta say that that's one of the most interesting rune lists I've seen in a while. I mean, I've versed very much in PTP rune, but I didn't catch that either when we were looking at the deck lists. But
yeah, there's a few of them actually.
We're really seeing Madalan coming in with these weird game plans between PTP rune and Jormungand Blood, is it, if I'm looking at this correctly? Or Akamarured
brought
Red
that
just
last week, I do believe, so.
Whereas Akamarured Red, it's pretty standard stuff, as he usually is like to. He brings lists that are just very consistent. He just doesn't drop games with them. That said, he's going as Shadow into PTP rune. Now this is actually a tough one to call because mid Shadow takes a while to set up, and rune on a good day can get towards any level of its game plans really, really quickly. So. Ooh.
He also got the God draw. Madalan with the insane best draw possible.
Between a Skull Beast and a Belinus, it's like, what does it take to actually deal with a Magic Illusionist that comes straight out of a Witch's Cauldron?
A lot. It takes a lot.
I don't really see Shadow having like a significant answer to that. The Red Hot Ritual also exists, so really, amidst Akamarured Red's like contemplation of his mulligan here, it's like kind of hard to imagine what mid Shadow needs to actually like establish any early game here, going second as well.
That is definitely kind of odd. Oh gosh, Madalan drawing some really good cards here. If he actually gets Gingerbread House, he has an amazing curve. Akamarured Red just getting not much to add on to this. He mulliganed into a 6-drop even too. He got rid of the Prince of Catacombs, got a 6-drop for it. Ugh.
Yeah, that's more or less the end of his curve plan, unless he draws into something different.
Not very good.
Magic Illusionist down. He doesn't have an immediate way to pop the Cauldron, so Madalan's plan isn't really developed yet either on his side.
Pretty interesting matchup. Like, honestly, I don't even know, really. I want to say PTP Rune, I think, has a good option, like a good set of tools against mid-range decks. But mid-range Shadow specifically is so sticky that it's hard to pinpoint, whether that should be a quote-unquote good or bad matchup. I do think, however, with Calamitous Curse, he should be okay. Madalan should be okay.
Honestly, Calamitous Curse can just sometimes be the end of the matchup for Shadow. It's like that card brushes off the entire class, like in a single swoop. It doesn't really help that Akamarured Red's like his development options here are pretty thin. Lurching Corpse is not really going to accomplish much more than slightly dealing with Magic Illusionist 2 pops. It probably wants to hold the Andrew Alphys, but there's nothing in his hand that actually benefits from it.
Alright, this development option is literally non-existent. It's also non-existent for the next 2 turns after this. Akamarured Red needs to draw something useful. He could actually opt to not even play the Andrew Alphys here. He could just save it so he can evolve it next turn. I like this too, actually.
I'm starting to notice something that just glancing at at Madalan's rune list, I think this is actually just a dirt burn list, and there might have been some mistake in showing like the list he was playing. Just noting that its 4-cost lineup is around like Halo Golem Piercing Runes. We might just see like a regular burn dirt list come out here.
Oh no, you're right.
Oh well. Probably just a simple mistake. I think the matchup is still, as we did see this matchup earlier, I think it is still usually favored slightly for Dirt Burn, just because Shadow doesn't really have the tools to deal with some super sticky options like Magic Illusionist.
Right, it's definitely in Dirt Burn Runes Dirt Burn Runes favor. And now that I see the list and also remember, I think Madalan actually, it's about the first time I've seen anybody do this. He brought the same list that he brought last week.
Got the faith in it.
I think almost verbatim same lists.
Well, when it comes to a deck like Burn Dirt, I like find myself like tripping over the syllables now too. Is that right, Burn Dirt?
It's so hard. It's so difficult.
Yeah. It's like the list really only needs like a certain number of pieces in it, really. Just Master Mage Levi, Wizardess of Oz, and just any lineup of between early game followers like Levi, Magic Illusionist. You know, where do you really find the list lacking? So I think I understand it. He's doing really well here. I mean, this is a pretty backbreaking position for Akamarured to try to come back from still. Really, not much to do here.
I mean, Akamarured still paying for that mulligan into the first two cards that he drew being absolutely horrible. He's got that thing that he can't play for a very long time. He's got Death's Breath not doing anything. Great top deck of Zombie Party, though.
So he's got some options. Lurching Corpse gives him a play with Demon Eater, and as you said, Zombie Party pickup. Both these things can kind of happen together alongside Skull Beast to use up all of his play points to just try to get back onto this board.
It's not quite the best thing he can do here, but I don't know. Like, it's actually just really hard not to die this turn. You know, Akamarured has to know that 3 damage is possible. If that Magic Illusionist is still alive, it can evolve and go face, and then 3 on the Halo Golem kills him. I'm sure he knows that, so...
I was trying very hard not to glance upwards, but as you say, he has to find a way to clear the Magic Illusionist completely alongside the rest of the board, which with this hand just isn't going to happen. Even Prince Catacomb might not have saved him here.
I think he's going to make the best possible play. Oh, didn't even kill both Earth Sigils to try and give a chance of an Earth Golem not happening. That's just going to leave straight up evolve face Earth Golem. Or Halo Golem. I don't know why I'm saying Earth Golem. Halo Golem.
Halo boy.
Halo
yeah.
Golem.
That really settles that really quickly. I mean, popping both sigils, I imagine it's something that is something that's hard to see when Carl's being there, or just sitting there as a distraction, because like I see this happen a lot where a player desperately trades into Carl because they don't want him to continue getting value, except the irony is that Madalan is not in any position where he needs the healing at all.
Right. Well, realistically, you know, it doesn't matter if you kill Carl there, just because Carl doesn't keep coming back, where the Illusionist does. Realistically, that's just a bad matchup, and not only that is, you know, Nakamura had a terrible hand for that, so.
Settled super quickly, so Akamaru already having to move on to his only other list that he had prepared, which I believe is just his Vengeance Blood list. Wait, no. I bet. Madalan moving on to his other list of Jormungand. I always get that messed up.
Right, Jormungand, because his sword got banned. His aggro sword got banned. So, I mean, Blood's pretty good, you know? I don't know. Against Shadow, it's kind of whatever, but...
Yeah, I think it absolutely could work out for him just because I think I've seen this sort of matchup happen before. I don't remember if it was exactly Madalan that did the same thing, but I've noticed now, and I'm now keen to this one huge advantage that like Jormungand Blood has against other blood lists, which is the opponent playing Urius actually helps if you have demonic Rams out. It becomes a source of healing. But he's gonna have to win this one first to get into that kind of a matchup.
Right. Jormungand tossed away immediately. Not very useful in your opening hand. His hand's not very good. Ugh. Akamaru.
Oof. Now, I consider one of the strongest qualities of Mid Shadow to be that it's a really consistent list. But there are situations like this, as we can see, where the deck has so many spikes of power that happen around turn 7-ish plus. It's hard to really avoid drawing some of that in the early openers without like having really another series or lines of play to really go for early on.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't think he cares too much. He's got a pretty good curve here. Can even play Ceres before he's able to evolve.
And shine.
And
if
Ceres
Madalan goes for the Bite on 3, so...
Yeah. And Ceres just puts in work versus the sheer amount of bat generation. Tough to deal with. Ooh.
Yeah, definitely not the easiest way to handle that. Bone Chimera also on 3, kind of okay. You know, it's kind of like Vite bait, right? Like you play a Bone Chimera and Vite just kind of like clashes on it twice, and you're like, ah.
Yeah. It is a curve. You get a couple skeletons out of it to deal with the bats just a little bit, but Vite wins out in that exchange. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's quite unfortunate for for Akamarured. He just makes more problems for himself, realistically, because once you make more bats like that, you just end up getting Summon Bloodkin done, and then it just snowballs. There's so many bats on the board. You're like, where'd all my skeletons go? You're like, where are they all dead of these bats? And then, you know, but...
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, like, I think Ceres is just a much stronger answer to all of that than is
That's
trying
true, yeah.
to, smack with, like, a super or something.
The thing about Ceres here is that, you know, it's not playable on 4, realistically, right? You don't want to play the Ceres on 4, because any 3-drop can evolve. Realistically, like, you know, Vite can evolve into... Right? Vite doesn't die, I don't think. No, to a non-evolved, he takes 3 on the backswing, doesn't die, and gets the Clash. Pretty good. So you'd want to wait until that can evolve, but then Madalan has the answer with Scarlet Sabor, has Bane. Doesn't matter how big the Ceres is, because Bane.
Right. And, like, from the position we were looking at, it's like, Akamarured's, like, still kind of playing off the top to look for his better answers and stuff. Like, a Scarlet Sabor is, like, not really something he's prepared to deal with if he had to commit the series there. But, anyway, so with visuals restored, we can just go back through this early turns.
I do believe that if you try to catch up on a replay, it plays really fast, really quickly. So we'll just see what happened in the first couple turns, and we'll come back, you know, in real time. I do believe.
Right.
I think.
So there's
I don't
that,
watch replays very often, but...
It's something along the lines. It does it, like, as quickly as humanly possible. Doesn't really try to emulate thinking time. But I'm noticing, like, Akamarured had this happen to him 2 games in a row now, where he tried to toss away one thing that seemed a little bit not so helpful for him on the early game, like
yeah,
a Raging Corpse.
Akamaru kind of got punished for the mulligan twice. I noticed that also. Yeah.
Just gets slapped by an immortal thing, like, here you go. But sometimes I imagine it's not too bad. Even though we did kind of talk about it, this hand is pretty unfortunate. It's like, it is sometimes the best you can ask for with a mid-range deck when you're against something like Jormungand aggro, or a deck like Jormungand that can sort of take on the shape of an aggro deck early on, or at least you do
the
have
zombie
plays
party top deck.
Oh, that means he doesn't really have to deal with the Vite at all.
Yeah, it doesn't have to do with it. Yeah, the whole thing we talked about isn't even relevant.
Well, he can pretend that he had a Vite and just go for the bunch of bats here.
Yeah, whatever. Why even clash? I just have bats, right? Catacomb, though. Skeletons versus bats.
Yeah, I actually think that Catacomb puts Akamarured in a fantastic position, because, I mean, something we had talked about before, just looking at how their hands were developing early, was how does he deal with Sabur? He doesn't really have to, because, like, his board doesn't really lose anything by trading here. At least he can just get into range, especially.
An interesting trade, too. Like an evolve, a very aggressive evolve there from Akamaru, being the first person to evolve, and then Madalan even evolving going face. Not respecting that damage at all.
He's just sort of telling Akamarured, you know, I know you have to deal with the Scarlet Sabur, so take your time. In the meanwhile, I'm just going to push you down as low as I can. And Akamarured just kind of has to answer it the best he can. Takes that challenge. But that puts us in a situation that I think is not rare at all for Blood versus Shadow, where Shadow just gets the board eventually. Blood doesn't really have sticking power the way other classes do most of the time, but has the leg up on life advantage, with a Karabos begun to start to restore card advantage.
Karabos is a pretty good card, but I don't know. Ikter's pretty good too.
Yeah, Ikter's okay. You know, deals with this pretty handily. Unfortunately, eats all his shadows, but, you know, who needs them? All right.
Right in a Vengeance, right on a 6. Oh, gosh.
The only thing activated, I think, in this list, I can check to make sure. Yeah, he doesn't run anything like Diabolic Drains in here. Really, the only card that interacts with Vengeance is Dark Airjammer. And, as you can see, just doesn't help him there.
Yeah, but Ceres, Ceres made a board, really. Ceres kept that board alive. You know, Karabos answered it, but Ceres into Ikter there was just so strong, so powerful.
Yeah, that's something I noticed that maybe even just attests to the consistency of Mid Shadow is you can throw away mulligans into 7 drops, but it's okay because, like, the sheer sticking power of the class early on just transitions really smoothly into turn 7, especially being on the play. Anyway,
Diabolic Drain's in Akamaru's deck. I think this is gonna give Akamaru the upper hand. I actually think that
hmm,
healing is great in the mirror match.
it absolutely is. Something that I'm just now starting to be wary of is, although it's not really tough for Akamaru to deal with, as options and snarling chains easily and Blood Wolf, but like I've seen demonic ram punish Urius like nothing else before, and it seems to be Akamaru Red's best turn 2 play.
Yeah, I think you just want to always kill their Urius, right? Like they're going first, they get first Urius. I think you want to kill it, right?
Yeah, it's absolutely realistic too. He drew another one anyway. He's got answers for days here.
And now the answer is to develop your own Urius or no. You get to evolve first, so
Yeah, I don't imagine he goes for it, knowing these pings are just going to leave Madalan floating at it more or less full defense here.
I don't know. Do you want
But
to blow both your snowing chains? This looks like an okay Urius turn to me. Goes for
hmm,
second Starling Chains. All right, okay.
yeah, I think part of the idea is he doesn't have another stable 2-drop other than Spiderweb Imp. Probably wants to try to figure out something to do in advance of Belphegor here, and doesn't want to just have Madalan sticking a full.
Right. That is true. Blood Wolf after a Demonic Ram. Gonna keep him at the same life total. This is looking really good for Akamaru Red, though. I feel like, heals
Ooh,
and getting to evolve first are both really, really good in this matchup.
right. Definitely seeing it too, because getting to evolve first. Oh, I was actually thinking Belphegor wasn't so bad. They're having a Dark Airjammer come out so soon, but gonna develop some 2-drops here instead. Opening for Urius after dealing with both Rams, in fact.
It's an interesting way to play the Urius. You do leave it wide open to any other evolve. I guess Akamaru Red is okay with that. It's gonna probably get answered by Avanya here.
Mm-hmm. Double tick of punish, but not really too big of a deal for Madalan. I guess Akamaru just wants to sort of develop early on and try to get something on board for Madalan to have to evolve into, and then perhaps afterwards slam Belphegor, because it seems like, if anything, his position now is worse than it was before to actually develop Belphegor.
Ooh, Madalan actually, he goes wide this turn. That's important, I think, but he also put Akamaru Red in Vengeance.
Right, and he
Which is
doesn't have
gonna
his
allow
own
him to
Urius
trigger
running.
Dark Airjammer on curve. Double, oh my gosh,
Ooh.
double Blood Wolf.
I think he's built it in
Talk
such
about
a
a
way
punish.
that. I think he's built it in such a way that the Wolves, the Uriuses, and the Spiderweb Imps are the only possibilities from the Airjammer, so swings that up. Very little difficulty.
That was absolutely devastating. Karabos is going to be able to come down, though, so not too big of a deal. I mean, you're out of cards, but you're going to start drawing to a turn, so it's not that big of a deal, right?
So, down to the last Evo point. Being ticked for one every turn. Next turn, I'm thinking, is a pretty solid time to go for the Belphegor. You feel me?
Yeah, I guess you could.
Because
What
I
about the
feel like
board?
to get... I feel like to get back into this situation, he really needs something along the lines of Diabolic Drain. Could be tough, though. The 8-3 needs to be answered soon.
That is true. If he does get a Diabolic Drain, I mean, he could also, if his draws are bad, evolve a 2-drop into it, or just play a 2-drop.
Right.
Goes for Belphegor.
Okay.
I like it.
Doesn't
Staircase.
find...
Yep, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna evolve a 2-drop into it. Oh gosh.
Perhaps not the fastest turn in the world, but he still is up in cards 4 now. Madalan is starting to race towards him with that Karabos effect still ticking. Now, if he's pausing here to think about the trade, now that's interesting and terrifying.
Akamaru.
Now that is a call, so...
He has to win somehow, right? So it's gonna pay off too. That trade is gonna happen.
I think that there was a lot that Madalan could potentially have had. Actually, with Snarling Chains, Razor Claw, just ticks of 3 damage being his primary removal here, and not having enough to play either of them alongside Sibir, that would have meant Madalan would have had to have exactly 2-3 damage removals in his hand to actually deal with that. So that, I think, is actually a brilliant trade to make into the mat.
All right, this is definitely bad news, Bears. Feels very bad. This trade, if you don't make it, though, you could just die. Did he not? He didn't make it. He didn't make that trade.
He didn't make it.
Wow.
Wanted to protect his 8-3,
Oh,
but
the drain. Oh. The drain.
That is such a tough position to be in, not wanting to throw the 8-3 into the 3-5 ward, but like, so easily, I imagine, that just gets punished. Especially by drain, but even just making the trade on Akamarured's side now works for him.
Absolutely. Devastating, though, Mofu. You're right.
Mhm.
You are right. That trade did hurt, but this is going to hurt even more. This is the game, I think.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, even just letting Akamaru make the trade himself on his own leisure is like, I mean, I guess that the situation doesn't change that much, but like, it opens him up to just anything Akamaru could have drawn, and like, a board like this is like, how do you get through this? Ugh.
Ridiculous.
And nothing along the lines of a Jormungand active or anything, just a Kairos.
Nothing can stop this, yeah. I mean, even if Jormungand was active, there's no way to hurt yourself. So, and that's just the game. Akamaru! He gets him, dude.
Look at him.
He's got a new thing. It's the finger guns are gone. He's doing, what did he do? He did this thing, right?
Yeah,
That's
it's
what
like,
he did?
I actually couldn't see it too well. It was something like that, but he had it. Like,
Something like that? I don't know what that
saw
even
it.
means. What even is that?
I don't even know what it means. Like, it's the lines of play. That's what I'm going with.
Oh, yeah.
Lines of play.
Hashtag
Trades in
A.
there.
Hashtag
A.
got it. Yeah.
And then he converts into the guns. Anyway.
Yeah, hashtag.
Let's go
hashtag
back.
finger guns. Yeah, I like
Let's go back to see what Desk has to say about those games.